Hi everyone. Hi Papa Roo. I'm feeling some serious pressure to make this freaking hilarious, but I'm afraid it's mostly going to be sentimental. It's hard to compete for laughs with my dad, especially with him being the guy that knows a million jokes and can always throw in a good one-liner or two when you need one. Although a large quantity of these jokes and one-liners have been around since about 1970 or before, and me, my mom, and my brother, we all pretty much know them by heart. Anyway, when I think of my dad's career in the world of firefighting and working for Ontario County, there's a few memories that stand out for me. One of my first memories was of him going to take the civil service test that he needed to do in order to get this job that he wanted. And then I also remember being a little girl and hearing the tones go off on my dad's pager, and then the whistle would blow down at the fire hall, and watching him, mid-meal, drop his fork, kiss my mom goodbye, and dash out the door to whatever it was that might have been waiting for him, whether it be a fire, an MVA, or just a false alarm, which happens on occasion as well. I remember him having to leave on Christmas morning because the whistle was blowing and playing his song. I remember his bunker gear hanging in the garage, and it was all smoky and dirty, and I still to this day love the smell of wood smoke, and I think that's because it reminds me of my dad. I remember hearing the noise his truck would make when he would back in the driveway after coming home from a fire. I never was really that scared that he wouldn't come back because I knew that my dad was a great firefighter and he would never let the fire outsmart him. I guess when I was a kid too, I thought my dad was invincible and nothing could ever hurt him. And he was way better than everyone else's dad because he was a fireman, and that was pretty cool. Now that I'm older, I realize how dangerous the job can be and that nobody's invincible, not even my dad. Although I'm pretty sure he knows everything there is to know about fire and firefighting. Maybe fire and my dad have the same relationship as snakes and people. It's more afraid of him than he is of it. I think my dad's not afraid of fire because he spent a large portion of his adult life learning everything he can about fire and learning how to stop it, and then imparting that knowledge on the paid and volunteer firefighters that came through his classes. I'm so happy that my dad had a job that he loved. He can talk firefighting until the cows come home, and I think that's because he always found it so interesting. He loved seeing that interest in his students as well. I remember my dad letting me go through the old mobile home that they used to have before the burn building was built. They used to train in it, and he was explaining to me that sometimes it's so black that you can't see at all, and you have to get down low because the heat and smoke rises, so you'll have better chance of any visibility. And even if you can see, you still sort of have to feel your way through the building. So in this mobile home, there was obstacles, and part of the floor was chopped out, and I was small, I was just a kid, and I could get through okay. It was a bit tricky, but I was tiny, I could see where I was going, and I didn't have any gear on. The firefighters would have to go through with their air pack on, their bunker gear, and I think they had their masks blacked out so it would replicate what it was like to have no visibility or low visibility in a fire. I remember a lot of things that my dad told me, even though he probably didn't think that I was always paying attention or listening. It was great when I was at school and my dad would come to school to teach fire safety. My dad was a fireman, so he was pretty much the coolest dad of all of our dads. I still think that now, so I guess some things never change. I also remember growing up and playing in the firehouse and on those big, beautiful red trucks. By the way, they're supposed to be red. They're not supposed to be yellow. Talking to you, Farmington. I remember being in the fire hall and sitting in that spinny chair that was in the radio room, and you'd grab onto the edge of the counter and you'd spin yourself around as fast as you could go. And every once in a while I managed to kick the button that would turn the siren on, and I did that a few times throughout my childhood. And some of you who've been around a while might even remember the time that I got on the radio and proceeded to say, calling all cars, there's a robbery on East and Main. I was going to say more, because I'd seen it on TV, and it seemed like that's what you say if you're on the radio, but I heard my dad screaming my name from the truck room, so I fairly quickly took my finger off the microphone button and prepared for the worst. I'm very proud to be my father's daughter. He is a wonderful dad and a great man. I'm also very proud of his accomplishments in the fire service, both with his job as Deputy Fire Coordinator for Ontario County and his work with the Manchester Fire Department. I know that he's going to miss teaching, and he's definitely going to miss his time in the burn building. But I suppose he can always still meet up for drinks afterwards to keep him in the loop. And I'm pretty sure he's not going to miss it as much as he's going to enjoy being retired. Congratulations on your retirement, Papa. You've definitely earned it. I wish I could be there with you. Can everyone please raise your glasses for a toast to my dad? Cheers.